Everybody, happy 2024. Hope you're doing great. Crazy Asian Vlog wanted to be able to put this out here as a lot of people are just starting out with what they want to accomplish in their personal and professional goals. I love the beginning part of the year, just the planning, the execution, right? And so the flexibility that's required, right, when you're putting together the plan is just as important as taking the time to put down the plan. I think a lot of people, they totally overestimate what they're going to do in a year, but then they underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. So I think it's really valuable, really the beginning part of the year, is to have a look at, okay, what are all the wonderful things that I want to try to accomplish? What are some of the good things that I could potentially do and go after, and then put those all down and then say, okay, with 2024, with where I'm looking at this year, what are the three that I want to be able to make sure that I really get done, right? So I know for me on the personal side, I want to weigh 190. And so I looked at it, if I lost about 2 pounds every single week until May by increasing my activity, at least 10,000 steps a day, starting to put in some running, starting to put in some lifting. And then more importantly, for me, my biggest Achilles heel on the overall weight is to be able to monitor my nutrition, right? Not to the point of counting calories, but definitely removing a lot of things, the snacks, the sweets, the overeating, and start to lose weight. So that's really where kind of you start kind of putting it together. Now, one of the struggles is, as you start having the flexibility, just use this as an example, is, okay, there's a birthday party, there's the Super Bowl's coming up. What are you doing to be able to make sure that you're not overindulging and removing all the hard work that you're doing as you continue to move forward? At the same time, remember, you don't need to be perfect. You want to be consistent. And so I'm reminded today of that wonderful quote by Albert Gray, that he was an insurance agent, that said, successful people build habits in what unsuccessful people will not do. And so for people that are in sales, it's networking, it's asking for referrals, it's asking for the business, it's asking the difficult questions, it's waiting for the answers, it's doing the analysis, it's putting in the time, it's the teamwork. When you start looking at those that might be in an engineering role, it might be waiting for the details. It might be having the patience. It might be going forward with only 85% of the information or 70% of the information, even though internally you want to have all the information. It's just that it would take too long to be able to get that accomplished. And so as you and I start the year, today it's January 3rd, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to go after? What are all the things that I want to do? And then what I find to be really interesting for me is that I'm continually writing it down now of what I want to accomplish, and then breaking it down, making it more piecemeal. Ultimately it's starting with the end in mind, one of those great 7 habits of highly effective people, starting with the end in mind and then working it backwards. Now, there's some things that you and I want to accomplish, but we might not necessarily know where that result is. So you might want to give yourself different milestones. I know that might be for some people that have aspirations of different income or savings and investments, or owning a certain amount of real estate portfolio. They don't want to give themselves a limit, but then you want to at least start somewhere. And once you get there, then go next, right? And that what's next is just as important as setting that vision and that goal to begin with. When it comes to your dreams, I don't believe in practical thinking when it comes to your dreams and your goals and your visions. Yes, there's SMART goals, timeline, realistic, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's more like relatable. So someone would say, oh, losing 40 pounds in the course of a year is unrealistic. You're not going to be able to do it, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to build the right habits. For me, I'm like, no. I want to build the right habits where I should be able to lose 1 pound a week. And that should be able to get me to where I want to go at 5 months in the year. Right? So if you think about that, 1 pound a week isn't dramatic, isn't drastic. It's very doable. It's a slight little improvement on where you currently are. Now, again, if you're 140 pounds, maybe gaining weights can be a little bit more difficult if you're trying to go in the opposite direction. So understand, wherever you are on your path towards setting of your goals, you want to be able to monitor where you want to go. Give yourself a milestone to eventually get there and achieve it. The other thing that I enjoy about the beginning part of the year is just the freshness, right? Because nothing's been done, nothing's in the past of this year. The reality is, if you really think about it, if you just take it day by day, which ultimately is how we're given it, right? Day by day. But if we don't allow ourselves to define ourselves by our past and make that our future, then the present truly is an opportunity to write things and to do things and to put into perspective our life the way that we ultimately want it to be. The difficult thing I find in the present is doing the tough work that's required to have the fantastic future. So, for example, for me in the business development side, that means I have to do the hard work of planning, contacting, follow up, analysis now, today, in order to have the future results of tomorrow. The clients of tomorrow are laid by all the work that I do today. And so don't allow yourself to be defined or even hamstrung or put into a box by what's around you. Focus most importantly on, what do I want to achieve? What do I want to accomplish? And do everything in your power to go at it with as much tenacity and dedication that you can. Also, remember that all great things in life are going to be accomplished by you and someone else. Whether that's personally or professionally, we need others to get us to where we want to go, and we need others to help us get where we've never been. So, who are you going to be building your tribe around this year? Terms out. Okay, so I'm using this microphone. Hopefully it's not too distracting. So it's January 2nd. Oh, sorry. January 3rd, excuse me, 2024. And I'm excited about the upcoming year. Adding on some new relationships from a professional standpoint. Going to work at being able to establish myself, go at building the book of business, helping as many people as possible achieve their financial goals and help put reality to where they want to be. At the same time, helping people navigate the what ifs, the risks that could occur in their life, whether that's professionally or personally, and really excited about what the future holds. But at the same time, what I'm doing is I'm wanting to be able to make sure that I put some flexibility in there, even though I have some aspirations, to allow there to be further aspirations or goals that can get accomplished beyond me, right? So think of it like, sometimes people call this like a stretch goal or a big, hairy, audacious goal, or like the vision of what you ultimately want, and then dialing it back on, okay, what then has to get done? What are you committing to? Kind of almost proverbial or metaphorically, gun to your head, has to get accomplished now. For me, though, I don't want it to be that dark. I just want to focus in on, okay, this is what I want when it comes to my professional career of helping out, a person a week. And then when it comes to where can that grow into, is having that flexibility of seeing where it can go. So hopefully you're able to see where that can play a role in your particular life and where you're headed. And really excited about what not only I can accomplish, but we can collectively accomplish together, especially if you're watching this. Maybe there's opportunities for us to do some work together and collaborate and do some good things. So hope you're doing well. Sherm's out. All right, everybody, here we are. Wednesday morning, meeting Starbucks. Good place for conversation. So it's a little loud. I have to go outside, but a little cool here in Houston because it's like 60 degrees. Hey there, everybody. End of the day here on a Wednesday. So one of the things I wanted to just kind of highlight here is winners keep score. So whatever that might be in your world, have a look at what you can be doing to be able to make sure that you're able to track the things that need to be tracked. So a lot of times we get away from that after we get out of school, whether you went to college or graduate school, or undergraduate degree, or even high school, is that we're in coursework, right? And there's quarters, there's assignments, there's assessments, quizzes, exams, midterms, finals. And so what happens there is you're constantly being able to check in with yourself. How's my progress? How's my understanding? Is it where I want it to be? But then when you get into the workplace, sometimes you don't get that same thing, except unless you get a promotion. However, your knowledge, your network, the relationships that you're building, although it's not on a scorecard, kind of can be. And if you're in business development or sales, this is extremely crucial to be able to make sure that you're keeping track of your different metrics of people in your network, people that you can bring a value to, people that can be experts in your little network. One of the cool things about a BNI group or a Business Networking International, where each person has a particular seat in their area of expertise, you're surrounding yourself with other people that are thinking about business, thinking about giving referrals. So you have this like-minded mentality. But if you have a network, you can start building that out yourself. So think of it, if I'm in commercial real estate, I want to get to know people that maybe clean commercial real estate. I want to get to know people that loan to commercial real estate, so commercial lenders. Again, if I'm kind of leasing or selling property, I want to know people that maybe do property maintenance. I want to know people that maybe do assessments. I want to find out people that are investors. I want to find out accountants that help people that are investors. And that is going to increase the value that we can bring to each other in that network. So today was very productive. So typically my days, Monday to Thursday, start out at 5:45 at our local church here, doing early morning Bible study. This year we're going through the Book of Mormon, and that goes from 5:45 to 6:45, and I team teach it. I'm Tuesday, Thursdays. Another guy go to church with, he does Mondays and Wednesdays. Typically Fridays are off. And then after that, I'll come home, help the first grader get off to school, and then I'll head to the office or I'll head to my first appointment. And then I want to be able to make sure that each day I kind of close it out and I keep track of what did I do. I update my sales pipeline, what got opened, what got closed, how am I helping people make decisions for themselves and their family and their business. And then finally, after that's completed at night, I'll look at the next day and say, okay, what is going to make that day fantastic, and kind of start planning it out. I call that process posting and planning. Got it from my training many, many years ago. Also today I was able to meet with Ramesh. We're going through basically the training in a box, things that come out of it, make sure that I'm aware of what's there, and most importantly as well, that I can help others be successful at it. And then had some different phone calls, and hope you're all doing great. Sherm's out. Crazy Asian Vlog here, Sherman. Hope you're doing great, everybody. It's Thursday, the 11th of January. So we'll have a productive day. Started off again early morning seminary. I taught today, and then after that came home, got the first grader off to school, and then headed out to take care of Grandpa today. Today was a work from home day, and so basically got there around 8:35 or so, 8:40. Fed him, and then 9 o'clock got in on emails, was corresponding back and forth with people, getting things organized for the day in terms of the meetings ahead. And then 10 o'clock Zoom, really trying to understand the small details of when it comes down to what our overall benefits are, our values, who we are. And then after that, 11:30, talking with somebody that's transitioning over to the company. So that's always exciting to be able to hear kind of their plan, their pipeline, how we can support them. And then after that, we had 12 o'clock, showered, fed my grandfather. And then 1 o'clock got in on a Zoom call, 2:15 picked up my laptop. And then 3 o'clock, 2:30 got on a call with Casey, one of our specialists in the commercial side, and then got connected. And then at 3:30 had a doctor's appointment. Then drove home. 5:15 had a client meeting that went really well. Closed it. I got to put the information in DocuSign. So it's 7:20 right now. In this time, he and I got off the phone around 6 o'clock. I got all the data. Then I have the new laptop to set up. So I was setting that up. You have to restart. You keep putting in passwords as it continues to keep restarting and updating itself. And then now I'll start putting in that information in DocuSign. So very productive day. Hope you're all doing great. Turns out. Hey there, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Sherman here, the Crazy Asian. Wanted to talk about getting your financial house in order. So there's a lot of good general advice out there, but I'd say for most people, it'd be a great advantage to them to know somebody in their network that can help be a sounding board to give them advice and ideas on what specifically they should be doing, right? So you think about people's ages, their different health conditions, single, married, divorced, children, no children, pets, no pets. We all have different desires. And so general advice, okay, but in today's world, you can get specific information. So I would encourage anybody, get with someone, get a plan together, and make sure that you're focusing in on what do you want. And then as you continue to age and different circumstances occur, make sure that you adjust that plan for the different things that are surrounding you. Plus, note that some things are important in your 20s versus those that are important in your 30s. And definitely a lot of things change once you hit your 40s. And I know for a lot of people when they hit retirement, a lot of those things have changed. So it really is advantageous for you to be able to have a look at what that looks like for you and really create that customized plan. Hope you're doing great. Sherman's out. Hey there, everybody. Sherman here. Wanted to be able to, as I start out the beginning part of the year, reminded of this quote: what got you here won't get you there. So as you look at what got you successfully through 2023, it's not going to get you to finish a successful 2024. It might have some of the same elements, but some of the different people, some of the different professionals in your network. So have a look at what are you going to be doing differently to drive the different successes that you want this year than last year. And just running after an 8% increase isn't going to get you that motivated. But running after something where you're doubling it, you're tripling it, you're quadrupling it, you're 10xing it, to steal from Grant Cardone. Go after what you truly want and make sure that you're doing something differently that's going to drive to different results this year. Terms out. Hey there, everybody. Happy 2024, everybody. Wanted to wish you all the health, wealth, and happiness in your life, in your family's lives, in your friends' lives. Life is tough with all its ups and downs and the difficulties that we each go through. But if you can hold on, if you can persevere, if you can have the tenacity to keep going after what you want, you're going to find yourself very happy this year. Winners keep score. That's my mantra for as I'm moving forward right now, day by day, is making sure that I'm keeping track of what am I doing to drive success. Am I giving out referrals? Am I connecting other people in my network? Am I looking for ways to be able to be better? Am I listening to others? Am I humble enough to be able to listen to the advice? Am I connecting with people to be able to find out some of my blind spots? And I know a lot of people are like, I know all my blind spots. Well, then you don't know your blind spots because that's why they're blind spots. What are some different things that you'll be doing to be able to implement to be able to have a better, successful year for you? Terms out. Hey everybody, Crazy Asian Vlog. Hope you're doing great. Really like kind of coming into this room and seeing all the successes of the runs that we've done over the years. It reminds me of a lot of times we have different goals, and at the very beginning of setting those goals, they can be lofty, they can be exciting, they can be smart goals. At the same time, I think sometimes when it comes to the practicality of your visions and your ambitions, just don't be practical. Go after what you want, and then ultimately just adjust the timeline, right? So if, let's say, for example, everything that you wanted to accomplish would take you 20 years or 30 years, would you still want to go after it? That's ultimately a great question to ask yourself about your passions and purpose. So over the weekend, for me, a lot of learning as I'm learning about different processes and at a new firm. At the same time, being able to make sure that I'm effectively closing out things where I currently am, and then at the same time, ideally can continue the partnership where I currently am, and so I've just added on another opportunity to be able to continue to go forward. So I was doing a lot of, they use Hoopus Performance Network University, or they call it the university, and so I was jumping in on the way that they go about things from a fraternal aspect and from a branding and also from a product perspective. And then so coming into Monday, with it being Martin Luther King Day, basically it's a half day. And then so I had a couple Zooms and then phone calls. And then as I look at potentially tomorrow, probably going to cancel school. Weather's a little bit precarious here. It's like 29 degrees in Houston, feels like 18, I guess, with the wind chill. So really good odds that they're going to cancel school for tomorrow because it's meant to be cooler tomorrow than it is today. And so just not getting too affected by that. It's a nice thing about work now is that you can do things via Zoom, via phone calls. So going to be able to push down on that. At the same time, I got all the kids at home, so want to be ever conscientious of kind of what they're doing and not completely neglect them. So it's a delicate balance, right? Everyone's got to find out that flexibility if family or friends is important to them as part of their life, and how you fit that in. And it's not going to be a balance. It's going to be sometimes a concentration of attention here and then a concentration over there. And then I think crucial piece is just communicating, okay, this is what I'm trying to accomplish and why I'm doing it. And hopefully you can see that value. And at the same time, calling an audible, right? If you decided, hey, I'm going to go into the office this day, and all of a sudden, things are kind of out of control with a child or something, and then it's time to call an audible and make a change and do what makes sense for you. So, but I'm a big believer that I'm not in your circumstance, I'm not in your shoes, and so you got to figure out what that looks like for you and your situation. I think creating plans and then having flexibility behind them is crucial. So hope you're all doing great this Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and find some time to think about the monumental movement that he was able to make in shaping our history here in the United States. So you as well could probably have the exact same kind of impact on the different things that you're going about if you're purposeful. Shrooms out. Hey there, everybody. It is January 24th, 2024. It's Wednesday. So I wanted to put this out there just because I think that a lot of times on the outside, a lot of us are like ducks on the water, that there's a lot going underneath the surface, right, to keep us in motion or to keep us floating. And so I'd say that for myself. I think if you were to meet me, I'm very positive, I'm very optimistic, and I'm almost always going to have a smile on my face. But right now today, Mel, my wife, is halfway around the world. She's 11 and a half hours ahead of time in Sri Lanka. Needed to go there for family and unfortunately a funeral, and something that was significant in her life. But that was on the 12th, and so now it's gonna be 16 days away, and we're here into day 13 or whatever, and I'm just feeling like super anxious over the whole thing, and just felt like almost like sick to my stomach, butterflies in my stomach. I can feel like that. For me, that's kind of how like the anxiousness, the anxiety. Other people, they feel different ways, and almost a loss of like appetite as well, and so it's okay to feel that. It's okay to have that vulnerability and to share it. What's unhealthy is if I lash out at Mel because she's over there, or I lash out at my kids because they're frustrating me with what they're doing, or I retreat and I jump into bed, or I call in sick, and because those could be unhealthy ways to deal with it, and to recognize what I'm going through. So I just want to put it out there just because I think a lot of times when people see me in particular, they're gonna almost always see like somebody that's gonna be super positive and that nothing kind of phases me. And to a certain extent, that's pretty accurate. I feel like I have a pretty good mental strength, mental stamina, really, really strong ability to handle stress. But in all that, I'm human, and so sometimes I can feel overwhelmed. And so I just wanted to share that with you. If you might find yourself going through the same thing, maybe find solace in the gym, or in talking to someone like a friend or a family member or a therapist, or maybe it's to a point where it's changing your behavior, it's changing your attitude, where you need to talk to a real professional and seek some help, or change things or do something, because it's going to be healthy. All of us go through different stresses and stages of life, and we might need to do something differently if we're not getting the right result. So just wanted to share that with y'all. Hope you're doing well, and hope you're finding yourself in a good space. Shrooms out.